Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Rule Your Game, the only local show for area teens. I'm your guest host, Alyssa Reed, a graduate from North High School. Rule Your Game is sponsored by QC Family Focus magazine, produced by Mickle Communications, and it airs exclusively here on the Quad City CW. Our first topic is a serious one. There's a growing trend among high school students. Experts say heroin use is on the rise. It can destroy your future or possibly claim your life. Rule Your Game sat down with an expert from the Center for Alcohol and Drug Services to discuss the dangers of drugs and alcohol use.
We're seeing kids that are doing meth, methadone, and heroin. We're probably seeing more kids that were doing methadone just recently than meth. Methamphetamine is like it's a speed, and methadone is used for, in the pain clinics, it's used for pain, and for us, it's used for opiate addictions. So the Center for Alcohol and Drug Services, we have our physicians prescribe it for opiate addictions, anybody who's on heroin, or using any type of OxyContin, any type of those types of drugs, benzodiazepines that get people hooked into those types of medications. And a lot of times people are getting on those because of accidents, sporting accidents, or car accidents, those kind of things. And so we try to do a lot of education with physicians as well, because you don't want them on them too long because they're very addictive drugs. Well, and that's part of it. A lot of people some of these medications are wonderful medications, especially for people who have cancer. And so because there's a tremendous amount of pain with that. So you see a lot of folks that may have them in their medicine closet. And that's one of the things that we do a lot of education through the prevention office and the outreach office, that you've talked to some of those parents and children, talking to them about what the kids are calling farm parties. So what they do is they, not like FARM, but PHRM, because they go to the medicine closets in their grandparents' or their parents' home, take whatever pills are in there, they dump them all in a big bowl, and then they just take the pills, and they take a handful of pills, and then it's called a farm party. The problem is you don't know what you're taking, you don't know what's in there, you don't know the interaction of these pills with these pills. So it's a very dangerous, it's like Russian roulette. Why would you do that when you really don't know what's in there? So we do a lot of education with families and with parents and kids to say, is this really wise? In the very beginning, it makes people very euphoric. They feel because I've never done heroin, I'm going by what's being reported to me. They report that they feel just a total sense of well-being, just like everything's perfect. The world's perfect, they're perfect, everything's great. They can do anything. And then after that, they're always chasing that. So the high isn't always the same each time, and it continues to get kind of almost lessen, so they don't get as high, and so they're always trying to do more, trying to do something else, that they're trying to go back and catch that same euphoric feeling that they felt. The problem with heroin right now is because it's so cheap that we're seeing an issue with heroin in our area. It's prevalent across, we're seeing some teenagers using it, but we're seeing a lot of 30-year-olds folks using it, and we're seeing some older people using it as well. Alcohol and marijuana. Alcohol is still the number one drug that adolescents come in and report. It's accessible, a lot of times in their own homes, and somebody can get it for them very easily because it is legal. And but alcohol is still the number one, and marijuana is still the number two drug that we're seeing amongst youth. And I just remember reading a study just recently, it was last week, that amongst high school students, and we'll see because the Iowa Youth Survey will be done this year, that there was a 30-year increase in the number of youth using marijuana. The problem is that some people can do things and they're not going to have issues with it. Some people can't do things. And so it's not okay, well, you did it, so it's fine, or you can do it and it's not okay. It's really kind of an individualized thing, how it impacts people and how it processes through their system. Alcohol is the same thing. It really just blew my mind that they thought they could insulate because they lived in a small town. Your kids are exposed to the same thing any other kids are exposed to. My kids went to private schools, to the Catholic schools, and people we were trying to get programming in there, and I was saying to them, why wouldn't we have the programming here? Well, because our kids don't need it. Yeah, they do. They need it just as much as any other kid needs it. Why would you say that? Things like that don't make sense to me, because every child is at risk. The youngest, probably 9, and the average is probably around 14, 15. is the average age that we're seeing. People are very resilient as long as we give them the tools to bounce back. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that kids have those tools. We want to make sure that adults have those tools, parents, youth, whoever, so they can rebound back. We want people to be resilient because all of us are going to experience some type of trauma. That's part of being a human being.
That's a case of area students getting caught up in the world of drugs and alcohol and not living up to their full potential. Coming up, we'll introduce you to a local athlete who is definitely not letting bad choices enter into her future. We'll head to Genesis Power Sports Performance to see how hard work and expert training is paying off for a local high school student standout. Plus, talk about an athlete. We are sitting down with former Hawkeye and NFL player Pat Angerer. He gives us some advice about working hard to achieve your dreams. Rule Your Game is coming right back. Welcome back to Rule Your Game. I'm your host, Alyssa Reed. If you want to rule your game, it takes determination and hard work. It also takes some help from the experts. In this next report, we take you inside Genesis Power Sports Performance Program. Allie Scott. Benton. I'm a senior. Right now I play basketball. I used to play softball and volleyball. Just focusing on basketball. Because I will be graduating this year and I want to go and continue my basketball career at college. And I've heard great reviews about this, and so I wanted to come and improve my quickness and my vertical for the sport I want to play basketball in college. I've gotten a lot quicker and my vertical has improved, so when I go to box out, you say, and then I'll get a ball, I can see that I can reach over top of the girls.
There you go, 315. From 9 years old up till college age, high school kids, middle school kids, kids of all different levels just getting started, some of the more athletic kids. We also have some adults that we train. She's a basketball player. She's involved with weightlifting at the school, and we're trying to take that strength that she's getting at the school and apply it to speed and her vertical jump, trying to get her more explosive. So we're doing a lot of speed drills, a lot of vertical jumps. We're trying to get her to put more force into the ground, and that will help her speed and her vertical jump.
I work on my vertical, so I do a lot of jumps here. And then I work on quickness, getting from 0 to 60. So when we do the slides, we're working on using my calves and my quads to jump, or we'll do where I lean forward and then I'll catch myself. So I have to quickly sprint and get to 60.
Really anybody looking to work on their mechanics of speed and agility. Anybody wants to get stronger, anybody wants to get faster, we can kind of tailor the program to fit your meet needs and your sport. Kids of all ages, pretty much anybody.
I would recommend it to anybody. They don't really have to be in a sport, I would say. I'd say if somebody just wants to improve being quicker, they can come here. But any age group I would recommend it to, not just a specific age group.
Slow, stick.
I do a lot of sprints, and then we do sleds, but we also condition after everyone. And then I do a lot of jumping, from jumping over hurdles and jumping over blocks.
We like to focus on mechanics and injury prevention. We make sure kids are doing things properly. We set them through screens and try to evaluate them based on their deficiencies. So I'd say we take a little more time on the injury prevention standpoint.
That's the way to train to be the best. Coming up on Rule Your Game, we sit down with a Bettendorf native who is a former Hawkeye and NFL player. He definitely knows what it takes to take your love for sports to the next level. Plus, have you thought about starting your own business? It's never too soon. We'll talk with a local teen who is already pursuing his dream. There's plenty more to come on Rule Your Game. Welcome back to the only show featuring stories specifically for area teens. Rule Your Game is sponsored by QC Family Focus magazine. It's produced by Mickle Communications and airs exclusively on the Quad City CW. Our next interview knows a lot about how to rule your game. He's made it all the way from Bettendorf to the NFL. Pat Angerer has some advice for those of us who want to take our love for sports to the next level.
My dream was always to play at Bettendorf. I was the youngest of 5 kids, so always watching them play. That was always my ultimate goal. I always see a lot of kids come up to me and they're like, I'm going to play in the NFL, or I'm going to play in the NBA. But that was never my dream. All I want to do is just play at Bettendorf, and that's all I ever worked for. So I think that kind of helped me with my priorities. I wasn't looking so far ahead, which I think you should. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, the kids that do, but for me, that's all I ever wanted to do was play high school football. A lot of hard work, obviously, sacrifice, sometimes you got to do things that other people aren't willing to do, and I was lucky that I had the family and resources that, pushed me in that direction. A lot of hard work, and I was fortunate. My class was full of a lot of good people, and we kind of stuck together and pushed each other and worked hard. And our ultimate goal to win a state title, it happened. Just playing football, was able to have some success and got some offers, and was able to get Iowa's attention and chose them, and kind of the rest is history. Kind of did the same thing. With Iowa, all I ever want to do is just step on the field and play. And I got the chance, and it took me a little bit to kind of figure it out and kind of mature. Definitely did some stupid things when I was younger, and finally figured it out, and finally worked hard and sacrificed things that other people wouldn't. I think that's the main thing is. You got to be willing to do things others won't, so you can experience things others can't. NFL's definitely different. Everybody's good, so you really have to distinguish yourself from others, and you really have to be on point with things, and be strict with yourself. And there were still times that I wasn't, but when I was at my best, I was very strict and worked very hard, and wasn't out partying or anything. Was out really focusing on myself and trying to do things right. To just have fun and work hard, and there's so many good people around the game, so many good coaches, youth coaches that are so willing to help, and they're not there to hurt you or be mean. They're there to help you become not only a better athlete, but a better person. And always have fun and work hard, and hard work goes a long way, and you can really accomplish anything if you set your mind to it and work hard.
Pat's a great guy and a great athlete. The NFL will miss him. There's still more to come on Rule Your Game. We're getting advice from young entrepreneurs. How do you start your own business? Find out after the break. Welcome back to Rule Your Game. Have you ever thought about starting your own business? If so, this next story is for you. Pleasant Valley Junior High student Evan Ershawn sat down with a talented photographer to find out his secret to success.
Hi, I'm Evan Ershawn, reporting for QC Family Focus magazine, and I'm here with my cousin, Grant Whitty, and we're going to be talking about his business, Altitude Photography. So, Grant, when you first started your business, Altitude Photography, you were 13 years old, and it was 2011. How did you do it? What gave you the idea?
It wasn't even a business originally. I got a GoPro camera for Christmas, and I just kind of messed around with it. It was just me and my buddies, and we'd videotape skiing, and it kind of evolved from us skiing to almost more of like a video production company. But then from the video production company, it went more into a photography business, and it just kind of happened over time. And it was interesting because that was not my original intent. It was just kind of videotaping me and my buddies out having a good time at the local ski hill.
So, Grant, how did you let people know about your business?
So first it was just kind of a lot of word of mouth. I kind of let people know that Altitude is here. I do a little bit of photography. Hey, if you need me, I'd be happy to shoot some photos for you. And I kind of got hired by some family and friends and for my dad's business. And that kind of worked out for a while. And then other people started knowing through that. It was just kind of like a chain reaction through word of mouth. Also, I did some advertising through kind of like a clothing line, if you will. I have some sweatshirts here. Say Altitude on it. Very nice. And so we sold a lot of those last year, and that really got the word out a lot. A lot of people were like, hey, what's Altitude? What are they about? What's going on with this whole Altitude thing? And you kind of see other people around town wearing these Altitude sweatshirts, and no one really knew what it was, and you ask them, they're like, oh, it's like a photography business and whatnot. So that really got a lot of the word out.
So Grant, you're really doing well now on your business, but as you were starting it, or even now, did you have some problems along the way or bumps in the road that just made your business a little bit stressful?
When I first started my business, I was super excited to get everything going, but it was kind of like a slow trail to where I am today. Basically, it just kind of, I was more of just a name that kind of hosted some photo and video, and that was pretty much it. You know, I was just kind of showcasing my media that I had. And it was just kind of slow going for a good year, and nothing was really happening. I had a Facebook page, didn't really have much to it, and so that was kind of a hard time. So I kind of gave up on the whole video aspect of it. I really found a love for photography, and the camera I was using was both video and photo, and I slowly transitioned over to photography. And then I kind of sat down with myself and I just thought about it. I was like, okay, you know, if I really want to do this, and I really want to make this whole altitude thing happen, I got to do it the right way. I got to stay positive and don't give up.
So Grant, what is your favorite thing about owning your business?
Well, owning my own business is really fun just because you never really know what's going to happen. And it always kind of throws you some curveballs, and I think that's really fun, even though there's some challenges, but it just makes it interesting. Another great thing about owning my own business is, one, I get to work on my own time, so I kind of get to incorporate into my own schedule of school and my other job. It's kind of nice to get some extra money in, and I like to put it back into the business to get more equipment so I can grow the business further, as well as expand my horizons with photography.
Thanks for telling us about Altitude Photography. This has been Evan Ershon with this Education Dedication Report, signing off.
Awesome job, Evan, and congrats to Grant. It's homecoming season. When we return, we'll take you to one local school's homecoming parade. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As we wrap up this episode of Rule Your Game, we invite you to visit the Rule Your Game Facebook page. Post your ideas of upcoming episodes. We leave you today with the sights and sounds of the Pleasant Valley Homecoming Parade. I'm your guest host, Alyssa Reed. Remember, whatever your game is, rule it.